Hey, everybody. This episode of Our Kids Play Hockey is brought to you by our title sponsor, NHL Sense Arena. Look, we all want our kids to succeed in hockey, but let's face it, finding training that's both effective and enjoyable can be a real challenge, and not to mention expensive and a total drain on time, especially if you have to drive to the rink, pay a private instructor. There's so many reasons that money gets spent on this game. But that's where NHL Sense Arena steps in. It's a virtual reality training game that brings the rink into your home that takes off-ice training to a new reality. It's designed to improve hockey sense and IQ, something that's lacking majorly in the game today for both players and goalies. And you get unlimited access to over 100 drills and training plans from top coaches and players that can be played anytime, anywhere, with drills approved by USA Hockey player and goalie development directors. Look, improving mental hockey skills at home has really never been more fun, and any hockey player that uses this is going to have a blast. All right. I've used this before on my own, and it feels like you're so immersed in an arena, you sometimes forget you have a headset on. And again, it's not being on the ice, but it allows you to work on some of these skill sets like scanning, as I said before, hockey IQ, looking around the rink, making the right plays, that getting those repetitions in now as a hockey player are super important for your development. So NHL Sense Arena is giving all the listeners an exclusive offer for $50 off an annual plan when you use our code Hockey Never Stops at checkout. Again, that's Hockey Never Stops. All you got to do is go to hockey.sensearena.com. Again, that's hockey.sensearena.com. Use the code Hockey Never Stops, and you'll save $50 on your annual plan of NHL Sense Arena. Make sure to check that out and enjoy this episode of Our Kids Play Hockey. What's up, hockey skaters and goalies around the world, and welcome to the Ride to the Rink, a micro podcast for young athletes that live the game of hockey and are looking to improve the mental side of their game. I'm Lee Elias, and today's topic is why it's important to practice how you play. Now, I know this is something you've all heard before, but we're really going to dive into it today because I think it goes a lot deeper than a lot of players understand. So what does it mean at its base? We say this, the idea being that you can't just show up for games. If you really want to get great at playing in games, you've got to be on the ice and practice as hard as you would play in a game. I think everyone's heard this concept before, especially those of you listening, but the idea is, how do you apply this? How do you build on this to really practice like you play? There's a question I want to ask you. Is practice limited to just practice on the ice? Or, shifting your mindset, is practice something that happens all the time when you're not playing in games, when you wake up for school, when you go to school, when you fill up water bottles, when you clean your room, when you take out the garbage? From my point of view, as a coach and a former player, everything is practice for the game. And like in games, if you want to do that well, you need to do everything in your life well. You need to do school well. You need to get out of bed well. You need to work out well. You need to take the garbage out well. You need to clean your room well. It's a constant mentality that never stops. Now, this is something that NHL professional athletes share. When I'm around pro athletes, one of the things I've noticed over the years is that they are on all the time. They are competitive in how they eat. They're competitive in how they sleep. They're competitive in everything to keep up the level of competitiveness they need to compete at the NHL level. With that said, they're also incredibly giving. They're also incredibly good people. They practice these things all the time because they practice like they play. This brings us to another concept, the idea that if you make practice hard, games will be easy. Now, I actually believe in this. We build up lots of muscle memory. We all understand that from a physical standpoint. The more you practice taking a shot, making a move, doing a Michigan, whatever it is, the more you practice that, the easier it is, the less you think about it. You probably don't think about it at all in a game. It just happens. Imagine if you were able to apply that to everything from your physical side, the way you work out, but also to your mental fitness side, what you think, how you act, how you respond. These are things you can be practicing all the time to apply to the game. In fact, I'd make it known as a coach, if you're not working on these things all the time, are you really giving everything you got? And I know if you're listening to this, this is something that you want to do. We're just giving you some of the tools here. Here's another thing to think about. We know what this means as a player, right? We're talking about you listening, what you need to do. But what does it also mean about you as a teammate? Good players will play great, but great players will lift up everybody around them, their teammates, their coaches, their staff, if there's a staff, their equipment managers, whatever it is. The best people I have ever worked with in sports have lifted everyone else up around them. That should not just be limited for game day either. In fact, it's that old saying of if a tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear it? It's character, what you do when no one's looking. That should also be an all the time thing when you're not in a game, so that when you get to the game situation, you're at the top mentally, the top physically. You have the highest level of character possible day in, day out. It's an all the time thing. So that's the message today. Practice like you play. Make it in every single aspect of your life. I believe in you with this. You should too. Thanks for taking this ride to the rink with me. I'm Lee Elias. Make sure you skate on, and we'll see you on the next episode.